basically, because there's the right way of doing things and the wrong way of doing things, and there was this noob that was bitching at me, calling me a noob. This is not the noob, by the way. This was just somebody that I was dueling against before. This was the first duel, the first test duel of the Duston 2.0, Duston Lock 2.0. I'm using the silver goggles as part of the lock. And then I dueled somebody else after this. And the noob was the person I dueled after this. This person, you know, I guess he didn't have anything, so he just quit after I did my Shining Angel move. It would have been nice to see how the duel would have turned out if he didn't rage quit. Or quit, not really rage quit, just quit. Not really much to rage since, you know, the duel just started, so there was not really much to rage for. So I guess he just, because he admitted defeat and he left. Rage would have been, he just immediately left. Alright, so now here comes the noob. Apparently he was playing Malefics. Didn't know until he dropped the Malefic cyber end that he was playing Malefics. Because at the beginning of the duel, I played, bait doll, and I hit his face down, return from a different dimension. And that was a little interesting because it was about, we're like he sets it, ends his turn, and then I bait doll. Then we go into this whole getting admin because he wants to argue the fact of the trap. Now I have no problem whether he does pay half or doesn't. If he pays half, that's awesome. That obviously I take advantage of that. But if he doesn't have to pay half, then that's okay. But you see how you flip the trap, put it back down, like if nothing happened. So I point out that he has to destroy it. Since it clearly was a trap, he had to destroy it. At first I didn't notice what trap it was. So then I check, and it's like, oh wait, that's return from a different dimension. So then I point out that you have to pay half of your life points for the activation, because it's forced the activation. Not that it just instantly destroyed it, it forced the activation. So then I read the card to double check, and it says special summon as many of your removed from play monsters as possible. So it's like, alright, you pay half your life points and special summon as many as you possibly have. If any. That's the way I look at it. If any. Now, I could be wrong. That's why I went and took the time to actually look it up after he was obviously complaining. And he was like, oh, I don't have no monster removed from play. It's like, yeah, I know, but your card states, if any. I mean, not the actual word, if any. If is from play monsters as possible. So, monsters as possible. So, as possible. Which means you don't have to have at least one out of play. That's just the way I'm looking at it. So then you call it admin, and I'm not bitching about, I'm not, why you calling admin noob or anything like that. I'm not complaining. I'm not making a big deal about it. I'm just pointing out that, hey, we gotta pay. You don't have to have monsters out of play to activate this card, and my spell obviously forces the activation of it. So clearly, I wasn't paying attention to most of what he was saying. Because apparently he was complaining, and I'm like, all right, well, I'm gonna go look it up. Instead of like, oh, admin crying to admin and shit for everything, even though admin themselves could be wrong too. I'm like, well, I'm gonna go to a pretty reliable source, right? A lot of us use it. Good old Yu-Gi-Oh! Wiki, right? Because the information on there usually comes from the official Konami site, so. Alright, I'm going to go to Wiki. I'm going to look it up, see if he's right or wrong. It doesn't matter. The point is to find out what really happens. Because we know my bait doll destroyed this trap. We know that. So he had nothing. That was the point. He had nothing. There was no big major threat. It was just a matter of does he pay or doesn't. That's the whole point. Does he pay half his life points or does he not? That was the whole point. Now, later, once he dropped the Malefic, I realized, wait a minute, he's playing Malefics. So there's something wrong. One, he was basically calling me a noob and complaining, right? Calling me a noob and shit, saying that I should read the rules before I go on Dueling Network and duel and shit. Basically what he's saying to me, right? And it was interesting. It's like, wait, you have Return from a Different Dimension, but you're playing Malefics. You cannot bring back monsters that are removed from play. Let me rephrase that. If you banish Cyber End Dragon, Malefic Stardust, or any of your other monsters in your deck, like Rainbow Dragon or something like that, for the summoning of a Malefic monster, you cannot bring them back with Return of a Different Dimension. So that right there is a noob move, because it's like, you're telling me to read the rules when you're not even reading the rules yourself. You cannot bring back Cyber and Dragon with Return from a Different Dimension. So why is that card in your deck when none of the monsters you remove from play to summon your Malefics can be brought back with it? I see a noob right there once I saw that. Once I realized that that's what he was doing. Now you see, I'm clearly looking, and I'm like, well, this is all the information that's on Wiki. I can't see anything that says he has to, he has not. But here is admin, good old admin, Nathan S. So admin's here. So of course he's talking to admin, letting admin know what is, what's the situation. So he's talking to admin. So, obviously I'm waiting. You see, I'm not complaining, I'm not bitching at him and, cursing him out or anything, So it's just weird for him to complain to me. Because after this, admin says yes, he has to pay half his life points, and then I continue my turn. And of course, the craziness, he's like bitching because I point things out. It's funny, I'm telling him what he can and can't do. Like when I have silver calculus, he can't attack my monsters because they all have the same attack. I even told him he has to lose 600 life points for Skull Invitation. Because you'll see soon enough. I think I could forward this a little bit. There's no point in stalling out. So I'm like, give him a sec. And he says some shit. I don't even know what he's saying. Then he's like, the timing for Return from the Dimension is incorrect as you do not have any banished monsters. So it is activated, negated, and destroyed. That's what admin said. So I was like, okay, does that mean he pays or not? And then he's, the duelist, the noob, is like, in fact, thanks. So go on. So he's talking to me basically, sorry admin for your time, some shit. Like he's trying to be nice to admin. But he's like, yes, it is activated, so half of life points is paid. Since it was activated, he has to pay half his life points. So he does. He doesn't complain or argue what admin said. It's funny, he was arguing what I was saying, but admin says you have to pay half. And that's all that mattered, was like, does he or does he not? I don't care either way. But I benefited from him having his life point. You see admin's still there watching me do my move. I play that, the silver calculus. I summon, send it to grave, set my Skull Invitation, and attack him directly for 1900. So then he has 2100 life points. Alright. No gores? Okay, nothing. Alright, end turn. So then it's his turn. He immediately drops a Malefic Siren. Then he'll proceed to enter battle phase, and I'm like, whoa, you gotta banish your Malefic Siren first. And this is when I realized, wait a minute, he thinks he can use Return from the Different Dimension to bring back his remove from play monsters that he removes for the Malefics. So you see I say banish Cyber and Fusion. So then he goes and banishes it. Right now I can tell he obviously is not happy because apparently he has a problem with me telling him what he can and can't do. So I take damage, I do my effect. I bring out my good old Duston, and you see while I'm doing my effect, he's already setting cards and shit without even waiting for the resolution of my effect. So he's already setting shit down, which is drawing. But if I had an effect to destroy everything on his side of the field, that would be stupid for him to set something while I'm resolving my effect. Anyway, my turn. I play with Terraform. I give it a couple seconds in case he has a response. Alright, he probably doesn't. Alright, then I go into getting my second copy of Silver Calculus. So I add that to my hand. I'm trying to thin out my deck, that's all it is. Just thinning it out so I can get to my good stuff. Since I already had the seal on the field, I don't need nothing. Alright, so now I summon another, I summon Yellow Duston. Bang, got the lock. Both of them have 500 attack, he can't attack me. So I end my turn. I got a lock. And I got Skull Invitation, so whatever goes to the graveyard, the controller takes damage. And since I have a lock, he can't attack me. Whatever his cards go to the graveyard, hey, he's gonna take damage. So I don't know what his strategy is. Then he dark holes, I'm like, I was like, damn, I played my trap, I'll lose 600, he'll lose 300. I was like, oh no, dark hole goes to the graveyard too if I chain. So it's like, alright, chain Skull Invitation. So, I'm sending my cards to the graveyard. His cards will go to the graveyard. It says Skull Invitation is active. 2 cards of mine went to the graveyard, so I lose 600. So I quickly take the 600. Right? I point out, he has to take 600. Then I point out that I'm activating my effects because I get 2 of them. And for some strange reason, he put a plus sign. I don't know what the hell that's supposed to mean. So I'm getting my effects because my house doesn't get this effect even when destroyed by card effect. So I special summon a house Duston, and since I can't control more than one house Duston, I summon 2, but I'm going to end up giving him 1 anyway. So this is a little iffy because it's weird. I don't have the ability to like special summon to my opponent's side of the field straight from my deck, so I have to summon him onto my side of the field, throw him to his side of the field, and then continue putting more on my side of the field. Because I have to put an equal amount of Dustons on both sides of the fields. And since the Dustons themselves state yellow, green, and red state, I can only control 1. That means I have to give one red to him, 1 red to myself. You get the idea. So this is the basic Duston lock. So you see he has a house Duston. So he has 1 of each of my Dustons, and then I'm gonna put 1 of each of the Dustons on my side. So there's yellow. I'm gonna grab green and red. They're pretty basic design, pretty simple. You know, obviously, it's just the Dustons, not too special about them, right? Other than the fact that my opponent really can't use much. Now you see, Call of Haunted in the graveyard. So what he said was a Call of Haunted. So I'm telling him the call stays. The Call of Haunted stays. Why is it in the graveyard? That's the obvious. Call stays, and then I point out that he's supposed to lose 600 for my Skull Annotation. So you lose 600 life points for Dark Hole and Cyber N going to grave. That's why I type up from my trap effect. So a typical duelist will read, oh yeah, you're right, my bad, I didn't notice you asked for invitation. You're right, I take 600. But he doesn't do that. He's viewing his graveyard. I'm viewing my graveyard because I have an effect, because Yellow Dustin lets me put a monster in my graveyard back in my deck. So I put it back in the deck. Now I have to double check Yellow Dustin because he's pretty new to the deck, so I'm not really experienced with his effect. You know, there's a possibility maybe he has to die by battle for that to happen. I'm assuming just being destroyed, even by Dark Hole, he'll get his effect. So the funny thing is I'm just trying to resolve all effects. But I'm also stating that he's supposed to have taken 600 from his Dark Hole, period. Which is weird. It's like you're supposed to take 600 from Dark Hole. You Dark Hole, so Dark Hole and your Cyber went to the graveyard. They actually hit the graveyard. Skull Invitation deals you 600 because it's 300 for each card. So why haven't you taken the damage? That's my thing. Then, of course, you see he proceeds to go into battle to attack with Malefics Cyber. It's like, I'm still like, why is Call of Haunted on the field? So you see I'm typing up, Call of Haunted is on the field. Why is it in the grave? And then for my assumption is, if I'm right, the Malefics can't be resurrected from the graveyard, even if they're summoned the right way. But I could be wrong right now because it's been a while since I played them. So maybe you can Call of Haunted. So I'm allowing it. I have no problem. It's just the fact that Call of Haunted stays on the field. I don't get why it's in the grave. You see he's doing the little question mark thing. And then you see right here where he says, continue to speak. I'm stuffed by. Like, what the hell? What is he talking about? Let me go back for a sec because he was saying some stuff. Alright, so he was like, I said, can't. Stop, you. That's what he's saying to me. He's like, stop. He's yelling it since it's in caps. Stop, you. Continue to speak. Every move I make. Question mark. It's like everything he does, I say something about it. Like, you can't do that. You can't do this. So I point out, I know how to play. Clearly, you do not. And then he's like, I have won. I'm like, no. You see, I put GG, I won. I got the lock. Not you. You got nothing. I got the lock. I got the advantage. And then he's with the question mark, like, you have to lose 600 life points. But if you cheat, which is what he's saying to me, and speak every time, it's like, where's the cheating? I hate people like you. And you gotta realize I'm typing and messaging, so I'm not even reading this. I'm actually reading this after the fact. Read rule and then fight. Bye. And then he rage quits. Because when I look him up to see if he just left the duel, he actually left Dueling Network, period. He just raged out of the whole website. He probably just exited the browser. Like a noob, of course. So that right there was rage quit. I don't care about points, so it didn't matter that I got points for him raging. And of course I went to go search to, you know, it's like, I don't like that type of behavior. That's just stupid, immature behavior that he would, you know, complain and complain, not even prove that he was right. So I went to see if, like, he was on YouTube or something to see who he was. Was he of any importance? I was like, well, clearly he's not important. So he's probably like some 9-year-old kid or some shit like that. So he was unimportant. But, ooh, that was a nice item. That was cool. Anyway, so then I just add him to my friends list right quick, which reminds me I gotta delete him later. So that when he does come back online, I can correct him on his stupidity and his noobish ways. You know, basically you get the last word just because he was wrong, so I should get the last word. Not him, but his stupidity. So I look at this, I'm like, okay. Playing levels and he double Shockmaster. That's cute. And obviously speaks a certain form of Spanish. I'm Puerto Rican, so I speak Spanish, but it seems like he speaks a form of Spanish because he was referring to that picture as the perfect victory, which I don't see the victory. I just saw 2 Shockmasters, which really meant nothing. Quasar, and your opponent is like points at 0 while you had 8,000. That's the perfect victory. But what I saw, there was nothing really perfect there. And as you can see, then I'm doing the deck profile, and this was the duel. I tested out the deck. It runs. The main thing is the combos work out and run. Obviously, I haven't tested it out fully to the point where you see how much damage I can do. As you can see in the video, I have Fatal Abacus, which deals 300 for every monster goes graveyard, and Call Invitation deals 300 for every card goes graveyard, and then I have 3 Just Desserts. I got Pixie Ring, Silver Cockles for the lock, basic, Monster Reborn, in case I, for some reason, one of his good monsters in the graveyard, I can Monster Reborn it and beat him down with it and win the duel that way. So those are the basic win conditions. The main thing is to lock the field, and that's it. Red Duston, when it's destroyed, it deals 500 to the controller. So the good thing is since my Dustons get 500 boosts, I can beat his Dustons if his Dustons are in attack mode. So I can summon the Dustons in attack mode on my side field and his side, so that way by me having Silver Cockles, I create a lock because he can't attack them. Then on my turn, I can attack, or if I did it during my turn, I had House Dustin die and bring out all these Dustons onto the field at the same time. Then I can use the Dustons I summon on my side to attack the ones on his side, and deal him damage. It'd be 500 since his Dustons are 0. My Dustons have 500. And since he'll have a red Dustin, that's an extra 500. So the potentialness of me dropping 4 on mine side of field, 4 on his side of field, me killing all 4 of his, he'll take 2,000 plus the red Dustin effect is on his side field, would deal him 500, and then you get the green's effect of bouncing something on his side field to his hand, and then if he has a monster in graveyard, it'll go back to his deck by yellow Dustin's effect, and then basic stuff. But that's the intriguiness of it's cute, there's not that much you could do with the Dustons. I'm still trying to figure out different cool ways. Neosphere is one way of playing them. Goblin King was another one. It's yeah, Goblin King 1-star, Dustin's 1-star, the Fiends. Yeah, that's perfect, you know what I mean? So I'm gonna definitely upgrade the Goblin King Dustin deck and put the Silver Cockles because that'll come in handy. Mainly because my opponent won't be able to attack my Dustons, so I'll keep the power boost. The only thing is my Dustons have to be in attack mode for them not to be able to be attacked. That's the only thing, which means I could, the problem of running into a Mirror Force, that's a slight problem. But I'll work it out. But I like the idea of playing the Silver Cockles with the Dustons because it works great. It creates a lock and gives them a power boost and whatnot. So that's the video.